What was that? OMG, have we got a show for you tonight? That is what we heard in the dark in a cave. I can't wait to tell you about that experience at a Harvest Host. Thank you for joining another What's Up Wednesday. This is episode 115. 115 consecutive weeks of bringing you crazy ideas like listening to a concert in a cave to help us all be better travelers in a camper van. Howdy, my name is Scott. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Go Small, Live Large, all about the camper van experience. It's a delight to have the live audience here, and it's really awesome for you to be watching the replay after this live stream ends in about an hour. What we'd like to do here is take your questions. I've got a couple topics to cover with you tonight. Let me share that with you. We're also doing a simulcast on LinkedIn. I think this is our 4th or 5th week in a row, but this is episode 115. 115 consecutive weeks of doing this show every Wednesday. It's, again, a delight to have you with us. This is the program tonight. Let me zoom in here for you. And I can't wait to explain what you just heard. So we did a open mic last week, and one of the folks that came up on stage with me talked about how to make friends while on the road. So we're going to talk about that tonight in a little bit more detail, since I gave it some additional thought. Libation Live, we might be starting that early because I'm at a Harvest Host. We have an oatmeal stout. And I want to talk about the cave concert for sure, and then the song is Quittin' Time. So here's Escapers, one way to find some friends. This is the cave concert, and there's the Libation Live up on the hood of the van. So again, it's just a delight to have you here with us tonight. And let me explain the jingle jar. If you're a regular here, you kind of know what this is all about. What this is if you give a super chat, which is a tip, if you will, or a super sticker, we jingle the jar, and it's all of Roads of Life fault that when that happens, if you're doing the drinking game, you have to have a drink, whether it's nice water or something a little stronger. It's all fair game in the jingle jar game on What's Up Wednesday. And again, we love to take your questions. We see a lot of regulars in here. This is great. And this is the question format, please, to use. And that is 3 stars followed by 3 question marks. And now help me find your question more readily. Let me just check one thing really fast. Camera, audios, make sure this is not what I wanted. I want to be right there. Just got a clue on that, so hopefully that sounds a little better. We might replay that horn sound. What do you think? What do you think that is? I'd be kind of curious to know. What I want to do tonight is kind of get right into the meat of the matter, but here's some topics. If you're new to the show, new to the program, new to the channel, let me zoom in here for you. This is what any of these are fair game and then some. So I think we're going to have a big group tonight because this has kind of been top of mind with us lately, and this comes from our camp out that we did just 2 weekends ago in Luckenbach, Texas, Fredericksburg, Texas, the hill country of Texas. So what's behind me is the woodsy area of a Harvest Host. I'm going to show you that in a second, but I want to get right into our topic tonight, and we're going to do some live demos using my iPad and a browser. So if you have an ability to come along with the journey using your browser, you can go with me to some resources to help you find friends. And then we're going to pause. We're going to say hi to some of the regulars here. I see a bunch of folks in here. This is so great. I just love this. I love Wednesdays because it's really my Friday. And did I mention I'm at a Harvest Host where they got great beer and food inside? Let's get right into our topic, and then we'll take your questions. Fair enough? All right. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is how to find friends to travel with. Now, I'm a little unusual because I am starting my 5th year of full-time travel in my Winnebago Travado. So I've kind of got friends almost everywhere I go now because we've been doing this YouTube thing a while. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. There comes the sun out to bake my head. But if you're kind of new to the van travel thing, or even if you don't have a van, Bill and Joe, I loved your comment right here. Let me see if I pull it up for you. This is what it's going to look like. Bill and Joe, I know I saw it, right? Please hold, please hold. Oh, beyond intention here. So Chris and Sandy, if you feel like it, I can invite you in. I can't find their comment quick. We've got Neil and Britt here too. But what Bill and, here they are. What they wanted to say is, I do not have a van yet, and through Scott, we've met some really amazing people. And that's kind of the whole point of this thing. The van's very important, for sure. Floor plan, systems, powered by Volt. I'm in a parking lot. the places it takes you, the van, very, very important. What I found is the most rewarding, the most enriching is the people we meet on the road, whether you have a van or not. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm going to get my my iPad out here. I've got this right here, hoping not to knock anything off the table. So if I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at. So let's help you find others to travel with. And then I got a special thing we're going to announce tonight for the first time on a way to do that, to hang with me for a few hours or an overnight, like Chris and Sandy. All right, so the first membership thing I would recommend is escapers.com. So let me let me stop this, go to the screen with my iPad and window, movie recording, and now you should be seeing that. And I'm going to go full screen here. So this is escapers.com. This is kind of for the working RVers, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke around here for you to see the webpage. Everybody see the webpage there? Good, good, good. So if you go to escapers.com, click the community tab, which we've done here. And this has kind of a good news and bad news. The good news is they have a Facebook group. So I'm not a big, anyway, so you go to Facebook, you join their group, and then you got access to all of their content. What I want to, if you're looking for a job while you're on the road, this is a good place to find a job. A lot of postings here. The bad news here is on the RV Village. This is actually going away. The Wendlands did a little video thing on this, and what's happening is Thor bought a conglomerate of these apps, and they probably bought it for the mailing list because it's like the #1 social media thing for RVers that's not Facebook or anything, Instagram, things like that. So they bought it for the mailing list probably. So this is actually going away in just a few weeks. So that's kind of a bummer. But what you can do is go to the Escapers community here. They have a lot of events, and you go to the events that are kind of in your area, and it's a great way to meet people. I've been to a couple of these, and they are so much fun. OMG, for sure. So that's escapers.com. The next one we want to look at is Vanlife Outfitters. So here is the URL. I'm going to stop out of that, and this is a little wonky, sorry. And we're going to go here, and this is the URL here, vanlifeoutfitters.com. So go to your media browser. I'll change my iPad here. So vanlifeoutfitters.com. I'm going to take you here because this is where we discovered the Florida Van Life Gathering and the weird Wild West coming up. So let me stop that. We're going to hit, this is kind of interesting. Present, share screen, window, iPad. Here we go right here. All right, so sure. And there we go. So this is their website. Now, they don't build vans, but what Van Life Outfitters does is they provide gear for people that basically DIY or some van builders. So what we want to do is hit events. It's in the kind of the top half there of their navigation bar. So that's what it should look like on your website. And then you can choose by event type, date range. There's a whole number of things here. So there's caravans, expos, meetups and gatherings. I'm just going to tap out of this so you can kind of peruse with me what's going on. So here's the some stuff coming up. Here's Tiny Fest in California. Here's the Rendez Van in Oregon. Mount Bachelor coming up. Here's Weird Wild West. A bunch of us are going to that. Cannot wait. There was one here I thought was kind of interesting. It was in Kansas. Where are you? I thought I saw it. Here's Hood River. A lot of these are in the west. Oh, goodness. Where's the one I found in... here's one in Vermont. The pilgrimage there in the bottom right. So bottom line is you can go here and just attend, at worst case, as a day attendee. But many of these have... here's more overlanding. This is in Springfield, Missouri. Not exactly overlanding Mecca, but nonetheless... Again, dates, times, many of them do allow you to have a day pass, and many of them, again, allow you to have a camp out. Oh, where's my cursor? Right here. And what is cool about that is you go for the day. Ooh, that sun is vicious. I don't know. I had my awning out. Let's try that. Real time. Awning out. Just to kill the sunlight. It's nice where I am, right? How about the weather in your area? Is that enough? That's just enough. All right. And again, the cool thing is you go for the event, but a lot of times they offer overnight parking for you. The next one I want to show you is, so if you're a Winnebago owner, and this kind of goes for any of the big manufacturers. So I know Coachman has one of these. Let me zoom in here for you. And what you want to do is go to Winnebago.com if you have a Winnebago. Go to Lifestyle. And then here on the left, under Get Involved, there's the WIT Club, the WIT Club. You tap on that, and then here's a whole bunch of places where local groups have Winnebago clubs. You can sort by your zip code, where things are happening. You can see there's a lot going on. So this is going to be Winnebago, like-minded, probably even there's a Winnie Bees group that's part of WIT. It's kind of separate from Winnebago Corporate, so you can join those. And generally what you have, you kind of roll in, and then you meet the folks, find people that are kind of like-minded you kind of get along with, and then you exchange phone numbers, and then you make your own plans. Let's keep going, right? Got a few more to show you here. This is Adventure Van Expo. We met a lot of folks, including the Vanlife Outfitters group. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tap Expos. See all those? Those are locations for Adventure Van Expos. I'm going to tap on the Chattanooga one, third from the bottom there in the black box. So this is what's coming up, October 2023. We may well join this again. We know for sure that there is camping if this is the same place as last time. Storytellers sponsoring this. There's bike camping tickets, so that takes you right here. So pretty cheap, well, $90 for a couple nights to hang out with some like-minded friends in a parking lot across from the expo. We had a great time last time. It was the second largest grouping of Embassy RVs that I'm aware of. So again, the idea here is just seek out places where there's van people, go to it, and then you start doing your networking. Fair enough? Got a couple more for you here. Overlanding. Overlandexpo.com. Let me zoom in here for you. Let this load. What happened? There it goes. Loading, loading, loading. How y'all doing tonight? That one's not doing very good. Okay, that one's a fail. Let's move along to one that's brand new, and I have to give a huge shout out to Chris and Sandy. They have literally asked for permission to do this. We talked about it at our Lukenbach, Texas campout just 2 weekends ago. Hard to believe. It seems like it was months ago already. Let me zoom in here for you. What they've done is they've stood up a Go Small, Live Large, Class B RV community and meetups Facebook group. So this has 94 people without even talking about it really. So maybe we can get this thing to grow. Cassandra, she is going to be kind of the moderator here. And here you can see some of the stuff we've posted from the folks. And there's a lot going on in here already, which is just great. So the idea here is a bit of a more private group. You have to kind of ask to join. There's a very teensy vetting process. You just have to be cool. Basically, you don't need a van. You don't even need, well, Class B RV would be great. But just be cool and be curious about travel. Be curious about making friends. And that's what this is all about. And I just want to give a big shout out to Chris and Sandy for putting this Facebook group together. I clearly didn't know how to do this. I'm focused on, here's Mason Mike. Look at him. So great. That's the first time we've met. There he is, Mason Mike, ladies and gentlemen. And Bandit's his van, and Lucky is his dog. And I am really lucky to know Mason Mike pretty well. But wait, there's more. So let me show you this. And this is brand new. Well, this is not brand new. So another couple of ideas. This is Meetup. Literally meetup.com. And what you can do in here is type in things that you want to do. I'm probably thinking this is not a great place to find van life events, but let's type in van life in Austin, Texas. And let's see what comes up. Search. And there's not a lot. So a little too specific. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in travel. in Austin, Texas. Let's see what we get. Go. And we got Pack Like a Pro, travel tips for women. Now that's kind of interesting. What I've found here is that there's not a lot specific to van travel, but what I have found and have done in the past is use Meetup and Eventbrite. We'll show that here in just a second. It's the same idea. So if I want to go, I'm headed to Austin, I don't want to be by myself, I'm going to type in bourbon in Austin, Texas. Let's see what we get. I have no clue. Oh, wah, wah, wah. Maybe that's an opportunity. So you type in something like, I don't know, football. Let's see what happens when we do type in football. Is it football season? We had the Super Bowl, so it's not football season. So here's some funny, we got some National Hockey Leagues or soccer, a lot of soccer stuff. So the point being is when you get to a place and you want to be around some people that are like-minded, you use Meetup or Eventbrite, type in your search criteria, the town you're in, and a radius, and it will give you some search results. I've done this in the past around Seahawks, of all things. I'm a huge football fan, you know. And it was a great way to meet like-minded people, end up giving a van tour, which is pretty cool, and you could have a one-off travel buddy just from something as simple as that. Okay, I've got a couple more things to show you here. One more, actually. So Eventbrite's the same idea. All right. So this last one I want to show you came out of the Vanbury we had, again, in Lukenbach, Texas, just a couple weeks ago. Ooh, we got a nice crowd in here tonight. This is great. One of the ideas was to use Patreon. Patreon is kind of a subscription-based supporting creators, like myself, for specific access, specific content, specific things that you're not going to get on Instagram, you're not going to get on YouTube, you're not going to get on Facebook. So I took the advice of the group. I've been thinking about it, and a big shout out again to Chris and Sandy for nudging me on this. And what we've done is we've come up with a Patreon page, and I have two levels of membership, I guess you'll call it. I'm going to zoom in here for you. It's $10 a month or $20 a month. Start whenever you want, cancel whenever you want. It's all administered by Patreon. I actually get more of your money versus the cut that YouTube takes. And what I'm doing here is giving you specific access to do different things. So the $10 a month, you get exclusive posts of where I'm going to be for an in-person impromptu roundup. We do Q&A, take a van tour. It could be something as simple as, like, hey, I'm going to be at this Harvest Host. Let's go have a beer together. It's only posted in the Patreon, so nobody else knows about it. And if you're signed up, you get notified right away, which is pretty cool. And that's what we're going to do for the $10 a month. For the $20 a month, let me show you this, and then we'll get moving, is I'm upping this one to include a Zoom session. Again, what came out of the camp out is we wanted to have more interactivity with people that are like-minded, to make those contacts in a more private setting, like a private Zoom session. So here you can private chat each other, make your own travel itineraries. It's a Q&A. It's kind of spontaneous-ish. I've already got one set up for April 1. And in addition to that level access to all the $10 a month level stuff, you get the Zoom 1 to 2 times a month. And then what I'm also going to do is share out with the $20 a month levels urban camping spots that I've stayed at. So this is kind of unique because I don't really share these often, certainly on Facebook for sure, but on YouTube. We've done some videos here and there, but these would be places I've stayed, I've vetted, and they would only be available through the Patreon at the True Believer level. So again, the idea here is not to get Scott rich, but it is to shrink the community just a little bit for those that are true believers, that are for benefactors, to be a more private group so we can share information more readily, and it helps support the channel too, which I truly do appreciate. So hopefully that makes sense, and I wanted to share that with you. So some ways to find, there's one more thing here. Let me go back to here. We'll stop the screen on the iPad, and we'll go to the entire screen. This is a great one right here. This also is on Facebook. This is the Travado Owners of Wannabes. I know like Coachman has the Beyond group. The idea here is you have to kind of be invited in. You request, they approve, and they have all kinds of criteria what you can and cannot do. If you look here at the bottom, they're actually having an event today in Louisiana for the Travado folks. So again, it's another community place where you go to meet people, learn about your rig, and make some one-off comments, some one-off friends. And that's how that is a great way to find friends while you're still at home or while you are traveling in your rig. Hopefully that makes sense. And just wanted to share that. I think it was Connie last week on our open mic night that brought that up, and I thought it was a great way to roll in. So I'm at a Harvest Host site. Many of you have joined me at Harvest Host sites. There's this $1 million, it's a kind of a Super C, right? It's on a Freightliner chassis. Big old thing. I met him inside earlier, and we are probably going to meet him inside as soon as the show is over tonight. So even Harvest Host, you got an RVer behind you. You can make a friend. It could be just an airplane friend. You meet them for 1 hour and that's it. Don't need to be BFFs forever. And that's some ideas for you to go to find like-minded people to make some friends. Holy cow, we got a big tip here to the jar tonight. Okay, let's zoom in on that one. That's a biggie. Holy cow. Adi. This is beautiful. So this is what happens when you get a tip. We jingle the jar. And thank you, Adi. That is super generous. Adi Sanchez. Henderson, Texas. Where is that in relation to Austin? I'd have to look it up. Thank you for your videos and contributions to the RV community. More power to you, sir. Please shout out to my lovely wife, Gazelle Sanchez. How about another ring in the jar for Gazelle Sanchez? What a cool name that is. I bet she's spry and hard to keep up with a name like Gazelle. Thank you, Audie, for that. Super generous. Appreciate that, sir. Let's look at some other questions. And just here's the format here. And super generous of you. So we're looking for questions. Again, this is the format. If you can help us out, 3 stars, 3 question marks. We're going to do Libation Live here in just a few minutes. Because I am parched. We got Ron in the house. We're going to say hi here in just a minute. So let me keep going. And Bill and Joe, I just love your comment. Don't have a van, but they're really involved with the community already, which is just so awesome. They're in Fort Lauderdale. Rich has a question here, and I see that Sherry has answered it. And this is part of the whole deal here, is building community. We all chat amongst ourselves. So thank you, Sherry, for sharing that with Rich. A lot of options now. Look for a few questions. Ela Britt, good to have you here. They're just an awesome couple. So here's Teresa kind of talking about, met so many wonderful people. Sunset in the road, life-changing experiences for sure. And that's what, the van's very important. Thank you for Teresa for chiming in. I totally agree with you. There's just it's just so amazing. And the van's very important. Where it takes you is super important, but the people you meet at the destinations or along the way is probably the best thing, the biggest serendipity. All right, let me share. Let me just zoom in, see if we got some questions. And I don't see any in the format. So MAF is asking about some pricing help. Maybe folks are helping with that. So there's that question there. Then John's asking, what's a realistic offer? I'm new to the community at MAF. So you're talking amongst yourselves, which is great. If I can find the question, if you want to repost the question, maybe I'll chime in. Jody's, so if you can help us with the question format, 3 stars, 3 question marks, it helps me find it. So Jody, I think, is talking about the Patreon. So there's meetups, impromptu meetups. That's the $10 level, and some pictures, some other fun little stuff. And then at the $20 level, there's a monthly, once or twice, Zoom, up to 50 people in a Zoom session. So it's much more private. It's contained. It's not YouTube live, and you can private chat each other to make your own travel plans. And at the $20 level, I'm also going to share out an urban camping spot or 2 a month. We discovered one in Boerne, Texas. That would be absolutely perfect. We stayed at Harvest Host. I was going to street camp, but I didn't. But just check out those and some of those other resources we shared. Okay, let me show you where I'm coming at you from. Just outside of Austin, Texas. Technically, it's Dripping Springs. The building behind my van, that's my van, Miss Lily. That is Beerberg, as they call it. Dripping Springs is the actual town I'm in. Austin's about 20 miles down the road, but it's all one huge metro area. It's pretty warm here. I'll probably have to run the AC tonight. It's going to be 65-ish overnight, but the rest of the country is definitely experiencing winter. It's kind of summer here in Texas already. Here's fuel prices in my area, about a 50-cent spread. And gas has definitely gone up. Even in Texas, if you can get gas for $2.95 a gallon, which I find at H-E-B, one of the best grocery store chains, probably the best grocery store chain in America, followed by Publix. They seem to have the cheapest gas. Real estate in the area is pretty expensive. Get your big checkbook out because it's going to cost you at least $500,000 to get going. And some of these have some acreage, so they're in the couple millions. But it's pretty expensive in Austin, Texas. We've got some streams coming up. I want to give a shout out about those. We have a guest, Livermore Camper Vans, on April 1st. And on Monday, April 12th, we're going to do LinkedIn Live. Talking about working from the road. So if you're on LinkedIn, we're going to get that posted and get that going. All right, ready to do Libation Live? I'm parched. Okay, so let's do that, and we'll take a few more questions, and then I'll share about this cave experience. It will blow your mind. So here is my setup. If you were looking inside my patio door, that's what you would be seeing. This is the beer right here. It's a growler, and from the brewery hall, that's my van under the red arrow. This is the selection today. So we're going to do the oatmeal stout. That's the fourth, right column, fourth from the top. And this is kind of what it looks like inside. It's getting pretty busy. It was almost empty when I rolled in a couple hours ago. And so let's pop a top and give a toast to everybody's health. So I'm using my Luckenbach glass because everything tastes better in a Luckenbach Texas glass. Let me get my iPad out of the way here so I don't break it. And there goes one of those. Okay. How y'all doing tonight? It's been 2 weeks of unbelievable in motion. It's so much fun. I dropped this earlier, so I'm hoping it wouldn't spill. Okay, oatmeal stout. The stouts are generally pretty, it's going to make a mess. Dark, and there's a lot of foam. That's not good. Hey, everybody. Gee, let me get my napkin. I'm sorry. YouTube Live. What can we say? Vanlife. Everything is always a little fun. How about that view, though, huh? That's actually a better view than that view. The gravel parking lot. Just love Harvest Host. All right, here we go. So, cheers, everybody, to your health. Jingle in the jar. Let me know if you like porters and stouts. This one's actually pretty light. See that? Not really. Very, very lovely. And again, I always thank the Harvest Host site for bringing me here because I get to experience something completely different and new. All right, let's see. We won't talk about that. So let's say hi to some folks, and we'll look for some questions, and I'll share the cave thing with you. We just love recognizing folks for joining us tonight. And if you're new to the live stream or to the replay, type in NEW, then let us know again where you're watching from, weather and fuel prices. And in particular, if you're coming at us from a country that is not on the map here, we would love to put your country flag on the map. Truly is an international program. And I can't wait to meet some of these friends and go rent a van in, I don't know, how about Israel? How about Mexico? How about the Philippines? How about, oh golly, Italy? All these kind of cool places, right? So that's what this is all about, meeting the folks. So again, we just want to say hi to Ron. Thank you, just a regular here on the What's Up Wednesday. Sherry, Thank you. Temps not worth mentioning. Yeah, winter in Wisconsin, right? There's Ohio Sharon in the house. Appreciate you guys, you being here. Dylan Rue, always good to see you here. In Georgia, love Georgia. There's Mr. Kurtz in the house. Eggs are down. Gas is up. How does that work? Holy cow. Can we get ourselves together? Here's John in the house from St. Augustine, one of the greatest places on earth. One of my favorite towns. And this is going to be kind of funny. If you Google map, satellite map, Chris and Sandy Beyond Intention, if you can put it in here, their van is actually in a Google photo of downtown St. Augustine, Florida. The Google map car caught him as it went by. Their van is forever in Google history, which is great. Gary's in the house from Orland Park, just up from Kankakee, where we used to own a home in Kankakee, Illinois. In the Riverview Historic District. We operated a bed and breakfast there for a number of years. And here's Dave in the house. Always great to see Dave. $285. Yeah, that seems to be the going price around here. So Dave is going like, John, do you know Steve? So I love how this works. Kind of the challenge here is it's kind of public. So if you put in email addresses here, it's not great. That's why we're doing the separate Patreon stuff, so you can be in a little more private group, private chat that information, so it's not public to everybody. No way, you guys are just down the road. Here's Beyond Intention. Wait till you see some of the stuff we hung out with those guys last weekend. I can't believe it's Wednesday already. Our camp out was only 2 weeks ago. Guadalupe River State Park outside of San Antonio. So great. Here's Justin in the he's full time, just like Beyond Intention in his Travada with his dog Bernie. Hopefully she just looked up. Third straight day of rain. Well, California needs rain, so all that praying's finally paid off. Mark's in the house. We got Nebraska Jody in the house. Here's San Diego Joan in the house. This is great. John's from the Bay Area. So great. Toronto. Yes, sir. Kara, or yes, ma'am, LeBlanc. Hoping to get to Toronto when I get back to the upper Midwest. We'll see if I make it. Here's Kat from Sacramento's in the house. Great to see you. Hola. April Marshall from Albuquerque. I'm actually going to be rolling through Albuquerque after I leave Arizona. So stay tuned. And again, I'm kind of selling myself here a little bit, but we're going to plan a few more roundups, which kind of meetups, get-togethers in a camp out in the next 4 or 5 months. But using Patreon, we're going to do really fast ways. It's like, hey, I'm in Albuquerque, I'm at this place, and the only way you know about that is being on Patreon. So if you want to spend $10 a month, that's $120 a year, support the channel, you'll get that information and can join me. So a little plug for myself there. So here's John saying, currently looking for a 2021 Travado 59GL. Anyone know one for sale besides currently listed on RV Trader? That's a great resource right there. I don't know of any other real kind of bulletin boards. You might go to the Winnebago, the Facebook group, Winnebago owners, Travado owners of Wannabes group specifically. I'm guessing they probably have a pretty lively chat there, John, so check that out. And I just came from a dealer. I trained a dealer here in Kerrville, Texas, this morning for Volta, which is the Pure 3 lithium system that's in a GL. And they just sold one, I think it was a 2021, for like 120 grand. If you go to their website, kervillerv.com, you'll see what they sold it for. But RV Trader is going to be your best one, or the Travado owner and wannabe group. I'm pretty sure that's there'll be some there for you. Again, Neil and Britt from Oregon. This is great, and got Mandu's in the house. Yeah, smash that like button. Let's have a cheers. Here's JJ. That might be a new one. Greetings, Scott, Jeff, and Cheryl, although she isn't on with the Sprinter. Glad to have you here. Really appreciate that. And yeah, Deborah's given advice to John here on the Travado Owner Wannabe site on Facebook. Listings are posted there. I'm thinking of selling mine. Oh no, I hate to part with my puzzle bed. New prices are discounted, even discounted or high. The other thing, a couple of you have reached out, and I know the one for sure sold their Travado on Facebook Marketplace. They posted, they literally sold the van cash the next day. So if you're kind of eager and you're wanting to kind of find a buyer in your area, they sold a 2019 or 20 Travado GL on Facebook Marketplace, and he's like, I can't believe how fast that thing sold, and it cuts out all the middlemen and all the BS, right? So you might think about that as well. Yeah, Sherry's saying lots of groups have meetings, which is absolutely true. And the other thing I'm kind of looking forward to with the Patreon Zoom meetings, it's two-way. We can see and talk in real time versus me just talking at you through the camera here. And I really look forward to those kind of things. So Neil and Britt saying the weather in Oregon. Thank you again, Audie. Let's just do that's a biggie. So thank you. Sorry for that. And a cheers, everybody. Very generous of you. Let's see. Looking for a couple questions or comments. New folks. Here's David in Wet, Indianapolis. Well, that's a great town that is. Indianapolis. You know what makes Indianapolis so great? You guys have a spaghetti factory. Yes. A spaghetti factory. Oh my God. Clam sauce and Zitra. Manager's favorite. One of my favorite foods. So here's Kat asking a question again. If you could help us out with the format, 3 stars, 3 question marks. How badly did you get hit in this last storm? So I was in Boerne, Texas, which is kind of between Austin and San Antonio. And it was Thursday night, really bad windstorm. Probably the worst windstorm I've been in the van. And it's been a long time since I was in a windstorm. And it was kind of unsettling. I didn't sleep really well at all that night. It was about 20 to 30 mile an hour gusts, so the van would rock like a boat. Sandy and Chris, Beyond Intention, had a great idea, which is to play like a background sound of water, like a lake splashing. So it kind of gives you the idea you're in a boat, which would probably make me seasick, but a great, idea to use the wind action with some wave sounds to offset that. But it did die down, but no ice. I think the ice was a few days or a week earlier here in Austin, which is really hard to see because you see these beautiful fir trees and what have you. It smells like cedar, but the canopy got all this ice and they snap. So there's all these snapped branches. It'll just take nature forever to return back to where it was, because these trees grow so slowly. Look at this, JJ. Thank you, sir. Just joined GSLL True Believer on Patreon.com. I really do appreciate that. I'm really excited to see where this goes, and if it goes well, and I think it will, the intention is to get more of a community, more intimate, more face-to-face, and for me that's really hard to do on YouTube, and be more spontaneous, which I wait. So here's my intention for a Zoom meetup. I'm actually going to be doing that from... Actually, I can't say it because it's a surprise where I'm going to be. Only one person on earth knows where I'm going to be, and we don't want to let that cat out of the bag. Big surprise. But I'm super excited. Thank you, Beyond Intention, for signing up for that. You guys are amazing. And here's a cheers to you. Let's keep rolling. Let's see. So here is, Jace, here's Jill. Again, if you could help us with the questions. So it's 3 stars by 3 question marks. Help me find your question more easily. Jill, thank you for this great question. Just starting out, congratulations. What van do you have? Let us know that. Wondering which areas you enjoyed the most. That is a great question. So I kind of have 4 or 5 favorite states. It's a bit of a ball toss. Tennessee or Kentucky? Probably Tennessee. Kentucky. Texas. I'm in Texas. I've been in Texas for a couple weeks. Going to be here for a couple more weeks. I just love Texas. Used to be its own country. It's just so great. I just love the Texas people. Texas attitude, the Texas everything. And then Arizona and New Mexico. I'm really in love with northern New Mexico, Santa Fe, and Las Vegas, New Mexico in particular. And then Arizona because it's just so different of a landscape. But I love small towns. Trying to avoid big cities unless I'm rolling in for specific reasons. Harvest Host really, as you're going to see, is a great place to kind of cut your teeth on some cool places. What I'd recommend is not taking a cross-country trip. Just take some trips of a couple nights. Start in your driveway. Get a real sense of your rig, and then go to some campgrounds like a state park, RV park. A lot of fairgrounds have hookups, and just test all your systems and test what you actually need in the van, what you don't, and then make a little bit of a bucket list that's nearby within a couple 100 miles one way. Again, just kind of cut your teeth so you don't run into any problems, and you really bolster your confidence. I just wonder if folks would agree with me on that or not. Here, Sherry, thank you for your comment here. 3 stars, 3 question marks. Meetup groups, caravans. It is by some of Bob Webb's subgroups, and they have meetups virtual and in person. So you just got to do some searching, do a little bit of homework, and you're going to find all kinds of friends to travel with, which I think has been very, very true. JJ's, there is actually a distillery. I'm not there because it's not a Harvest Host site, but I did pass it coming up. There's a vodka, something Eddie. Vodka is on this main U.S. Highway 290, I think it is. It's not a freeway. It's a 4-lane Highway 290 coming into and leaving Austin. So there's a distillery. I've got so much bourbon in here. I need to get together with a bunch of you like bourbon, because I can't go buy any more bourbon. It's pretty embarrassing. The RV dealer worked with today, Kerville RV, they're all like, how many? What? I got to see this. And I took a picture of my bourbon cabinet. So, what's the Eddie vodka brand? I know some of you know it. Lone Eddie, something Eddie, right here in Austin. Not the big one we all know. So here's Mesa Mike saying, I love Boerne, Texas. Discovered when I met Chris and Sandy, Guadalupe River. It's a great town. I was going to actually record some of that town. I did not. Just ran out of time, as is always the case. But it's, if you get, and it's spelled Bourne, Boerne, but it's kind of a German word. They dropped the little 2 dots over the O, so it's pronounced Boerne. I got corrected immediately upon landing in Boerne, Texas. Again, there's a Harvest Host site. There's easy street camping, and there's so much to do. A lot of wineries in the area too. Very close. We got a little thing going on here. Nothing on Wegmans. Have I been to a Wegmans? John, I'm not sure. I gotta tell you, HEB's got HEB and Publix, maybe Wegmans. Some of the smaller family grocery chains are really into quality. What's the one in Illinois? I can't think of it off the top of my head. But they put the big chains to shame. It's just really amazing. All right, let's shift gears. How are we doing on time? Pretty good. What I'm going to do is share my Harvest Host experience with you. And a little plug for Harvest Hosts again. And if you're getting your van, I would highly recommend getting a Harvest Host membership. I'll take some more questions in a minute. Oh my gosh, this is it. Pint and Plow. That was in Kerrville. Yes. Great pizza, right? We all did. Well, Chris had pizza too. At Burgers. Pint and Plow in Kerrville, Texas. And there's a KOA there. I'd been running straight for about almost 2.5 weeks. So I got to a KOA and just let my hair down for 2 days. It was so great to be not in motion. But Pint and Plow, we did go there with Beyond Intention, who has a YouTube channel. So hit them up, subscribe, and I'll make Chris make some more videos. All right, let me share this with you. So Harvest Hosts, it's plural.com, harvesthost.com. Camping about a little over 4,000 wineries, breweries, farms, attractions. No camping fees, but you're kind of expected to buy something from the merchant, if you will. In this case, a little cerveza. Let me show this to you. This is kind of a snapshot from a really high level. They're kind of all over. There's a few deserts for Harvest Host sites, but again, this is what brought me to Boerne, Texas. Here is the cave without a name, right there by the red arrow. And this to me is what Harvest Host is about. It brings me places I would not go, wouldn't even know about. And this literally was a cave that also has an RV park. associated with it, so you don't have to pay to stay in the RV park. It's like $20 with electric and $30 for full hookups. Harvest Host is free. It's $20 to get into the cave. I think $22. Great staff. Met the owner. Was it Tom or John? I think it was Tom. The docent guy, he's been there for 25 years. He was like listening to a recording. We had some latecomers show up about 10 minutes into the thing. He backed up about 4 minutes into his thing and just started going like he never even skipped a beat. It was unbelievable. So you can check the availability. I think they have 3 parking spots. Beyond Intentions and me stayed on Saturday night. Why? Because this is what the cave looks like. Let me zoom in here for you. This is just a portion of it. It's about an hour and a half tour of the cave. It was really one of the better caves I've seen. But what happened is when I toured the cave after I stayed the night, which was last Wednesday, took the cave tour and learned that they actually do concerts in the cave. I'm like, what are you talking about? How absolutely horrible could the acoustics be in a cave? But it was on Saturday night, and I texted Chris and Sandy, and here they are. Whoops, right here. And there we are, getting ready for the concert to start. And I'm going to play this again, because now I got my microphone working. And they kind of almost started this. And what was amazing is the concert was 90 minutes, but of those 90 minutes, 20 minutes of it was in complete silence. They did this horn sound at the beginning, so it's literally a horn that is kind of a sacred horn. Then they turned out all the lights, and I'm telling you, it was unbelievable experience to be in a cave with only that sound going on. And it lasted 20 minutes of music of all kind of variety in the dark, and then they turned the lights on. They did some LED candles, kind of bring your eyes up a little bit, and then when they turned on one light, I thought it was fair to take a photograph. And I gotta tell you, it was one of the most moving experiences of my entire life, listening to this music in a cave with like-minded people, Chris and Sandy right there. And I got to tell you, it was just one of the coolest experiences. And only because of Harvest Hosts were we able to accomplish that. And then we ran around for the next couple of days together. There we are, our picture in Bernie. And here's with Wild Bill Hickok's, right? And the statue. Just a great town. I'll go back there in a minute. So again, a little plug for Harvest Hosts here. And if you go to my website, gosmalllivelarge.com, it's on the front page right next to the Patreon thing. You can click off and sign up for that or lock in your savings. There's a couple different programs. There's the Harvest Hosts, which are commercial properties. There's a step up, which is golf. And there's a second step up, which is the Boondockers Welcome, which is a separate program. All in, it's about $225 a year. To me, the coolest thing is it takes you places you would never go. Like Bernie, Texas, Cave Without a Name, to listen to a concert in the dark in a cave with cool people. I can't tell you what an amazing experience it was. So that is my how to make friends. And then when you make some friends, decide to go to a Harvest Host together, and you can listen to a concert in a cave together and build a memory that you will never, ever forget. To me, that's what this is all about. You having fun? Give us a thumb up. Oh my gosh, so we got Song of the Week here in just a minute. Let me just look for some more questions. And I'm having a blast tonight. And, whoo, Jody, beer and tomato juice. Cheers, y'all. I think. What do they call that? There's kind of the Mexican beer thing. It's Chelada. What do you call that? Beer and tomato juice? A clamato juice is even better, right? Y'all, thank you. Yes, we're in Texas. We gotta say y'all. Pint and Plow, getting the bourbon. Yes, sir. We're going to do some bourbon tastings when we get together as part of this Patreon thing, because I've got to get some of this bourbon out of here. It's pretty crazy. I've got 40 bottles. I'm thinking about making a video and doing time-lapse of bottles going out on the table and talking about a little bit where we came from. Harvest Host brought me to some of these, and just the friends that we've met and the camaraderie around bourbon of all things. But we'll see if I make it. Did 2 van recordings today, a van tour recording, so you'll see one of those this weekend. Yes, we had brunch at Pint and Plow, really good. It was superb, yes. So here's SK, thank you for using the format. We want to take a trip in our Travado K, bringing a third adult. Any suggestions for how, where the third adult can sleep in the van? I have 2 suggestions for you. Depending on how old they are, you say being a third adult, so how large and or old. This may or may not be comfortable at all, but I met a family in a KL at the Harvest Host site, K without a name, and they had 2 adults, 3 kids, and 2 dogs in a K. Their 6-foot daughter, they put the big bed together, but the 6-foot daughter slept under the bed on the floor. Could be an option if you get a skinny air mattress-ish thing, or a yoga mat. Or the other thing they're doing, Winnebago, is there's this air mattress program that sits in the front seat. That the front seat is the foundation, and then you kind of sleep in the cab. Would be another one. Other than that, how about a pup tent? Yeah, that's kind of the issue with the K. Although if you also be out in the big bed, that would be another suggestion, I guess, right? Make a friend for the night. Wilson's Ice House. This was a Harvest Host site? This sounds familiar for some reason. Got to see. Not sure. Pilsner, yes. Mason Mike says he's a Sprouts guy. Love that grocery store. Cheaper than Whole Foods. Whole Foods equals a whole check. Has that changed since Amazon bought them? I don't know. It was pretty much a whole check when I was there last. Newton Kerville, where I just came from. What a great little town that is. Got to see. Thank you for having a great town. Cool little river runs through it, right? So here's JJ. +1 on the porters and stouts, especially milk stouts. This is oatmeal. Left-hand milk stout out of Longmont. I really like porters too. They're very heavy. They're I don't like IPAs. I don't like wheat beers, but this one's pretty good. So Kara's got a good question here. If you could help us with the question format, it helps me find it, Kara. But thank you for the question. Let me roll this in quick. And I think the sun's gone behind me. Actually, it's not. It just stopped. Okay. It wants to protect me a little bit. Hi, Scott. Are you planning in the future to do any traveling in your RV in Europe? One of my huge bucket lists, great question, is to actually float this van to Europe and spend a year touring Europe. Now, whether or not we actually accomplish that, I don't know. But I could fly to Europe and then rent a van of some type, maybe even wing them. OAC 540 might be possible. Don't know. But it's definitely on my list, and that would be a huge bucket list check off for sure. Rich has to turn his fridge down. Yeah, because of the freezer plate, it gets pretty cold in there, and your Diet Cola is slushy. That's pretty funny, Rich. Sherry, this is new information for me. Thank you for sharing. Harvest Host has acquired Brit stops in the UK, get a van, and travel in Europe. Interesting. I'll have to check that out. Was not aware of that at all. Thank you for that. So here's Jill W. Thank you for joining. That might be new to the channel here. Appreciate that. I am from Canada and just bought my first motorhome and plan on joining Harvest Host and going to Vancouver for the summer, then travel down to the States and following the coast line to Texas. One of the great things, congrats, Jill. Let us know what motorhome you bought. Always curious about that. One of the great things about the Harvest Host app is it has a route planning tool. So you can say, I'm starting here, I'm going to here, and it actually plots the Harvest Hosts along the site. And then you can do a little bit of research and see what makes sense for you. They're not all breweries, they're not all wineries. There's farms and churches now, and a whole particularly if you're putting in the Boondocker Welcome, that's private property, usually current or former RVers with acreage. Some of those people actually have a driveway like in a downtown urban setting. It's pretty amazing. And golf courses, I love those as well. So a lot of options with Harvest Hosts. Save 15% by hitting my website up to get you 15% savings. Let's see, looking for a couple questions here. Here's New Ed. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate that, sir. From Baton Rouge, one of the great towns in Louisiana. Morgan City. I was just there. If you haven't seen that video, which has not performed very well, stayed in Morgan City at a Harvest Host site that was an oil rig. And it was pretty amazing. I love Baton Rouge. You guys have an amazing battleship there in the Mississippi River. One of my favorite and most moving experiences was on the warship there in the Mississippi River in Baton Rouge. I visited twice. The second time I visited, it was an anniversary of the kamikaze strike, where it killed I don't remember the exact number, 30-ish sailors and the kamikaze pilots. I think there's a couple of them. And it was an anniversary of that impact, and they recognized the kamikaze pilots. They didn't really venerate them because they caused the whole thing, but they did recognize them because they were all now deceased. So what they did at the ceremony is they dropped red carnations into the river, played taps, read the name, dropped a carnation. So after a few minutes, there was this string of, looked like blood drops in the Mississippi River, trailing behind the warship. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Complete accident that I ended up there that day, because I'd been there before. Just rolled up. Maybe that was the first time. I went back a second time. I think that's what it was, because I asked the visitor center. When I roll into a town, I try and find the visitor center. What's going on? They mentioned the ship. The anniversary thing was unbeknownst to the visitor center. I just rolled up, and again, the bell, the name, the carnation, 40-some drops of blood in the river was just a super moving experience in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Thanks for being here, Ed. Really appreciate that. Great town. And by the way, they have a big casino there. Don't remember the name. Stayed overnight there. A lot of casinos let you stay overnight. What a great crowd tonight. Here's Julie Kendall. Nice to have you here, Julie. And there's Jody. Woot woot. This is there's Simi G's in the house. And let's see. Let's look for a few more, and then we'll do our song. So here's Neil and Britt. We are headed to Albuquerque after the event to Scott. So we are definitely, we'll have to caravan. We lived for 2 years. We have some awesome spots to show you. That would be so amazing. So once we get out of Bisbee, I'm going to head that way because I'm going to try and do a Volta appointment. I'm going to have to stop in Phoenix first. But yeah, let's definitely chat. And I would love to see if we can get to Las Vegas, New Mexico. It's on Route 66. It's a small town. There's Taos. Everybody's been talking about Taos, New Mexico. So yeah, let's chat. I can't wait. This is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. Get in a van, going cool places with really cool people. Warrior Woman. What a great name that is. Boston in the house. I have not been in Boston in my van yet. Did make it to Philadelphia, where I urban camped, downtown Center City. Can't wait to get to Boston. What? Do we have 30 to wake up in the house tonight? Oh, he is. No way. Good evening. Finally caught alive. Hope you're doing well. Kevin, how are you, sir? Good to see you. I know you're a big beer drinker. You're floating around on a cruise ship, or you got some short time? And where are you? So Kevin is super great. He had a Travado KL during COVID, and has a great channel and does all kinds of crazy camping, travel stuff. So subscribe to his channel. Are you getting close to 100,000? Probably. Nice to have you here, sir. What a treat that is. So everybody say hi to Kevin. Oh my gosh, what a crazy night. Ahoy, he says. Are you serious, Mason Mike? I did not know this. Downtown Phoenix has a spaghetti factory. You're always in an old building with old antiques. God, I can't wait to get to Phoenix then. to see you, of course, but Spaghetti Factory. So we're going to do a Patreon meetup at Spaghetti Factory. We're going to do that. Would be fun if we get 40 people. Well, 30. I don't know. Hey, we need a table for 40 people. They'll be like, wait 1 moment, please. Wouldn't that be great? Oh God, I can't wait. Manager's favorite, clam sauce and Mazitra. If you haven't had clam sauce and Mazitra, cheese, brown butter, Spaghetti Factory, you haven't lived. All right, let's do the song of the week, and we are at time. So this came up on an Apple suggestion. So it's a newer song, as you can tell by the. It's not a record. It's not a cassette. It's not a DVD, and this is a great song. It starts off a little bit. I don't want to bust it out for you. It starts out, that's what kind of caught my ear, Seminole Wind. Now, two of you folks, audience friends, clued me into Seminole Wind from the Micanopy, Florida video I did. And this song starts out sounding a little bit like it, but it's all country. It's by Quittin' Time by Zach Bryan. He actually got his start in the music business by posting videos on YouTube in 2017. A couple years later, he debuted at the Grand Ole Opry. And he's a Navy veteran. I think he's been in for quite a number of years. They put him on on honorable discharge to pursue his music career. So honorable discharge from the U.S. Navy, 2021. And if you haven't heard Quittin' Time by Zach Bryan, it's all about quitting time. So appropriate end for tonight's show. Let's just see if we have a few more questions here. Otherwise, we will say sayonara. I'm going inside to they had a brisket taco that looked absolutely fantastic. So Warrior Woman, Wonder Woman. New owner here, Winnebago Solis National Park Edition. Whoop, whoop. Congrats. We saw from our camp out, we had Bobby and Steve were in their National Park Edition Solis, and they absolutely loved it. They had a great time. They were just a delightful couple. She was amazing. He was amazing. They were just really, really delightful. So congratulations. Let's have a toast for Warrior Woman. Thanks for joining the community. Appreciate that. And here's a good question from JC. Here's JJ says, we were a republic. So apparently a Texan. Yeah, Texas was its own country until about almost the Civil War, right? So about 20 years, Texas was a country. They had a little war against Mexico and won. Come and take it, right? And that's just this kind of Texas attitude. It's so contagious for me. A lot of cowboy stuff around here. I can wear my cowboy hat, no problemo here. No dirty looks. JCA wants to know, are generators allowed to run overnight at Harvest Host to run the AC? It's kind of a yes and no. The host site will state whether you can or cannot run the generator overnight. A lot of them, particularly in small areas or like winery type things, kind of foo-foo-y things, are not allowing generators because it kind of ruins the mood. That's one reason that a good lithium system in a van is so important, because it gives you unbridled freedom. 30 amps of shore power running off lithium right now. I got 88% state of charge, so I'm running the AC maybe tonight, although it's cooling down. But it makes all the difference. So when you're shopping for your van, choose carefully, determine how you're going to travel and why, and will a generator impede that, or will a lithium system enable that more fully? I'm just finding a lot more saying no, to answer your question short. You can run it during up to like 10 p.m. and then at 8 a.m. you can start it up again, but Mama wants cold air overnight, so that's going to be a problem. Be on attention saying you got to get to Taos. Yeah, we might have to do that. Run up from Las Vegas to Mexico up to Taos, and then I'm heading up into whatever the next state above it is. I got a crazy schedule. Oh, this, I think... so got to see, I can't see your thumbnail. So I think he's one of the sales guys at Kerville, right? Maybe I got that wrong. I haven't looked at my email for a while. So amazing person. I'm not disagreeing with you. I visited Kerville RV. Absolutely great personality. Answered all the questions. A great group. They do Winnebago only. And they only do motorized. So they don't do trailers. They do B C and A rigs from Winnebago. So they know Winnebago really well. They, I had to say, were really good students today. And I was very pleased with that team. My first time meeting them. Deep Eddy, that's it. Thank you. This is the vodka that's down the street. Deep Eddy. Thank you, JJ. Appreciate that. Deep Eddy. Vodka. Which makes great martinis. I love martinis. All right, let's see. This is quick scan. We're over time. These guys close at 8, so I want to get in there and have a... here's a question here. Question. Hi, Scott. In your 59GL, how do you handle storing your drinking water hoses, flush hoses, and tools? So tools in my tool bag go under the bed. The gray water and the drinking water hose get wound up and are put in the utility cabinet. One bug. The sewer hose goes in the side of the van where it goes in mine. The newer ones, it's kind of in a hose thing under the chassis. Easy peasy, super convenient. Mine looks pretty used. A lot of folks do it a little differently than me. Actually, not. That's kind of how we do, because we have that utility chest, which is really, really nice. Utility closet in the back. Great question. And by the way, what I would highly recommend is getting the cloth hoses, drinking water safe, certainly for your drinking water. Why the cloth? Because they fold up to like this. The big plastic ones, they're kind of meant for the big rigs, and I had one my first couple weeks. I'm like, this is stupid, because they will not collapse to fit in that said utility closet. So get the cloth ones. You can find them online. A lot of RV parts and stores have them, like Camping World, so they're hard to find online. I think it's gotten much better over the last year, but good question. Yeah, beyond change, it was complete darkness. I was actually seeing things. My brain was playing tricks on me. It was pretty amazing. Doris, hi Scott, not a question, but I had to tell you, I just picked up my 2020 Travado 59K and I'm traveling back to New England. Just stopped at my sister's house in North Carolina. I am so excited. How about a big shout out to Doris? What's the name of your van, Doris? Cheers to you. Congratulations. You have a sweet rig. You own one of the best-selling camper vans in North America. Winnebago Travado line has a 49%, maybe even slightly more now, market share. So it's the number one selling camper van in North America. Pretty crazy. Let's get to if I click this, what happens? Mason Mike, give me a tip tonight. Oh my gosh, where are you? I can't find it. Here we are. Mason Mike, thank you so much, sir. Now let's do Spaghetti Factory in downtown Phoenix. You can moonstock at my place. Absolutely, that's why we travel in vans to go have clam sauce and Zitra at Spaghetti Factory in Phoenix. And Mason Mike, it's a date. So maybe we'll put it on the Patreon $10 membership as a roundup. Because if you haven't had that meal, you really haven't lived. That's a deal for sure, sir. I appreciate that. Here's Beyond Intentions. You guys are amazing. Join Patreon, y'all. Can't wait to see y'all. $20 is the cost of a small meal and a good beer. Support Scott instead. Okay, maybe both. Totally agree with that. $20 is... I still support Patreon. The Russos, Keep Your Daydream, and the guy that got rid of his RV years ago, Sam Kreslin. Why? And then Fate Unbound. Now I stopped doing YouTube, so that kind of fell off. But I still support those three because it helped me learn how to do what I'm doing. Not only the YouTube thing, but the van thing, the RV thing. So it's to me, it's kind of like PBS, NPR. Put your money where you're spending your time. Maybe it's on some of the channel apps. But thank you, Beyond Intentions, for that. I really do appreciate it. You guys are all just great. All right, I think with that, let's call it a wrap. I'm ready for a taco and a beer. If you had a good time tonight, give a thumb up. Appreciate that. We had a great crowd tonight. And just thank you very much. New video this weekend. It's going to be a van tour, followed by the breakdown of my rig, which was pretty scary. And lots more coming your way. So we'll see you next Wednesday, and we'll see you in person hopefully soon. Until then, we say journey on, and peace be with you. I'll hold it like this. Gotta click the button. It's a fun time tonight. Thanks.